Good day.
Good afternoon.
Very good afternoon to all the participants for being on this community of practice, our regular meetings. A warm welcome to all of you once again. And this is really encouraging that we are sitting at the sixth community of practice today, and a very warm welcome to all the speakers as well, and the dignitaries who will be speaking across into the technical presentation. I think we have a good number of participation today. In fact, in India, we have Diwali. So probably we have some Indian participants missing today in this meeting room, but we'll definitely share the outcomes to the rest of the participants for the benefit what we have discussed today. Once again, to set the context, we have technical presentations, 3 technical presentations today. And because our thematic area is how do we enhance the trade opportunities, specifically promoting biopesticide. So today we'll be focusing more on how to bridge the research, governance, and commercial models specifically for sustainability in terms of bioinputs. So this is the area where will be discussed across. And this is very nice to have Dr. Richard Roche, immediate past dean from College of Agriculture Science from State University of USA. A warm welcome to you, and I request Dr. Roche to set an opening remarks, and then we start formally with our agenda. Over to you.
Thank you very much. It's been just 3 months since I've been participating with this organization, and I've been very impressed by the diversity of skills and backgrounds of the participants and how they're very much unified on practical themes of making biopesticides more effective. I think it's just terrific. I'm grateful for all that you've taught me already, and it's a pleasure to try to encourage your work and help out wherever I can. I'm very much looking forward to the presentations today, particularly about neem, which at least by the 1960s was established as a practical pest management tool as an antiphedon and perhaps more. So without further delay, how about if we get on to the presentations? And thank you very much for all of you being here.
Thank you, Dr. Roche, for setting up the context. I would also share my apologies on behalf of Dr. Ravi, as he's been hospitalized and he will not be able to join. And on his behalf, we have Dr. Varaprasad, who will be moderating the technical presentations. And Dr. Varaprasad, over to you for the next to conduct the presentations. And a warm welcome to Dr. Mashood, who would be the first presenter from the head secretariat from the Regenerative Production Landscape Collaboration WWF Pakistan to discuss on the topic about, as we talk about sustainability in bioinput, specifically from the commercialization side. Over to you, Dr. Varaprasad.
Thank you, Sami. And it's my pleasure and privilege to be part of this COP meeting, and extremely happy that excellent 3 lectures are planned today and ably conducted by our team, Sami and Darshika. And thank you from the Roche for your opening remarks. And Mashood ji, I think we are in touch with you with reference to the regenerative project of European Union. And we are extremely happy that you could find time, and then you are giving this very, very important lecture. And this is the hot topic globally now, the regenerative agriculture, where everybody, global funding, a lot of openings are there. And we are very much concerned about environment and ecology. And we hope this COP also contributes to this. I look forward to listening to you. Mr. Mashood, floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I will request Darshika, if you could please, upload the presentation so we can move forward. Well, thank you, Darshika. And thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, Apari and Dr. Saab. I'm also concerned about Dr. Ravi Pal. I hope he gets well soon. So to give you an overview the landscape which changed in Pakistan in a couple of years, and how with an accelerated pace the private sector came in, the investments came in. So today I would like to, can you go back? Okay, sorry. So I would like to present a case, a model where research, academia, the government itself, the farming community came forward, and they developed a perfect case for investment. Now, next slide, please, Darshika. Okay, so this is just a very brief of how it's all started, the milestones. In 2013, we entered into the discussions of having organic cotton in Pakistan. At that time, I was in Africa, but then in 2015, I came back to Pakistan. I was asked to come to head that project here in Pakistan. And that's like how we started. We had these consultations, and initially we had a lot of resistance, not only from the farming community, but also from the government itself. And to be to somehow demoralize ourselves, our mission, we had a lot of failures also. The most important factor which let us down was the unavailability of non-BT or non-GMO seed. So in 2017, we were up till 2017, we were quite disappointed. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah. We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yes,
Okay.
we can hear you.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So that's then we started reshaping the project, and then starting getting feedback from the sector, and we reshaped everything. Next slide, please. Now, this is the wonderful year. In 2018, we had the first organic cotton bale in Pakistan, and that was something remarkable. We were something around 800 bales in 2018. And next slide, please. And that was something very new for the sector. Pakistan usually imports around 400,000 bales every year, and process them and sends them. So from 800 bales in 2018, now we last year delivered something like 95,000 bales of certified organic cotton. The best thing about in the year 2021, some new investors came in. They also saw how the Lotus Foundation, which was earlier called CNA Foundation, granted the amount to WWF Pakistan, and how they were successful in giving us the country organic cotton. In 2023, the area increased to something like 145,000 acres. So that's a very remarkable, I would say, example of how academia worked with us, how the researchers and especially the government of Balochistan came forward, and they joined hands with everyone, and then the project got shape. Can we have next slide, please? Now, everything which was happening in the fields was being reported to the central system, which was then translated into advocacy, and this was the first time where the policy matters were taken from the grassroots levels to the top. Otherwise, usually in our part of the world and these regions, the policy comes from top to the bottom. But this was the first time when the farmers themselves started demanding for something concrete, and having some a roadmap for our organic agriculture, more specifically organic cotton. So this year, just a few days back, the government of Balochistan came forward, and they have declared their first organic policy in Pakistan, and that's remarkable, because now there will be budgets, there will be laws protecting the rights of the organic farmers in Pakistan, and that's going to contribute to the agroecological contributions in Pakistan. Next slide, please. So now, what we need now, since now the sector is maturing, the area is increasing. Now we need something more concrete, and after seeds, we need bioinputs, basically fertilizers. But fertilizers are being people are coming for fertilizers. Compost is there. There are companies which are, getting organically certified. So there is some sort of a movement in the biofertilizers, certified biofertilizer sector. But on the other hand, we are quite lacking or lagging in the biopesticide sector. For example, right now we do not have any certified biopesticide. There are some companies who claim that they do have very effective certified pesticides, but unfortunately, there aren't results to back their claim to control vectors, the pathogens. So we are actively working with academia, and after me, I think this presentation, Dr. Bina will be there, and she will be discussing how she has developed something from neem. That pesticide has been registered also with the plant protection department, and that's something good which is happening on the ground. But we still need international coordination, cooperation, investments coming to the ground, because there is a fertile land, not only for investment but for research also. Of course, technology transfer is very important, especially in the field of biopesticide manufacturing. On the other hand, the government of Balochistan has stepped up and moved forward with the IPM technologies, but we still need joining hands. But the more important is developing financial models for the organic farmers in Pakistan. Darshika, please, can we have the next slide? I think we are about to finish this presentation in time. So we are nearly to the end of this presentation. This picture is remarkable. It comes from the organic fields, and we see 3 generations. Father, the son, and the grandfather loving the cotton, and that's something which has taken movement at grounds. And these 3 farmers from the same family represent the future of agroecology or organic cotton in Pakistan. And finally, I think we have a certificate from nature. Darshika, can we go to the last slide, please? Yes. Now, this was a picture taken by one of our colleagues while I was also in the field with them, and this is like honey being grown in cotton fields. Now, we know that cotton is a highly pesticide demanding crop, but having honeybees in organic cotton is a certificate from nature which we all cherish. That was a very short sort of a presentation of what we did in the last 6 or 7 years. Thank you very much, and if there are questions, we are open to them.
Yeah, Sami, I think we'll take the questions after the 3 presentations or right now.
Yes, sir. After the presentations, we have a
Oh.
20-minute Q&A. So we will take the questions from there.
Okay.
Yeah, but thank you, Mashood. I am so happy to learn about the agroecology developments in Pakistan. And I hope the next is also very relevant to this in continuation of your presentation. She chose a general topic. Thank you very much. I think we'll be in touch with you. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, Sami, you can go for the next presentation.
Yes, thank you. So for the next presentation, we have Professor Bina Siddiqui, who's a national professor at University of Karachi, Pakistan, to share her technical presentation on neem-based biopesticide for controlling the locust attack. Welcome to
thank you.
Dr. Bina.
Thank you, Sami. I think Dr. Bina has just now changed her to a better topic and more broader topic. And we welcome Dr. Bina. Thank you very much for sparing your time. I think together with Mashood ji, it makes a very makes a lot of sense where we are in Pakistan. Thank you. Yeah, please go ahead, Bina ji.
थैंक यू मुझे बता दें फीचर कैसे कर रही हूँ मुझे बस क्लिक करती हूँ सो थैंक यू वेरी मच and I'm most glad to join the people who are very experts in their fields, including Dr. Mashood. So I have changed the topic, and it is now the prospects of development of biopesticides in Pakistan. My introduction has already been done, so I don't need to. Neem or Adjacta indica is not new for the subcontinent and the Southeast Asian countries. This is the, in the background, you can see the photograph or the glimpse of Professor Dr. Salim Siddiqui, who was my mentor and my PhD research guide also. He worked about a century ago. He started working on this plant, on this tree in various parts while he was in British India, and isolated very two or three new crystalline compounds from this. These were not, at that time as a director was not known. So I have put his picture in the background because I am his student and he's my mentor. And what have I done? I learned from him. So the various aspects of Azerta indica on which we have focused our studies include chemistry, biosynthetic rationale, bioactivity directed isolation studies on new fruits and other different plants, synthetic and preparation of synthetic analogs, and structure activity relationship studies with respect to their insecticidal or pesticidal activity. We have tried to develop some products, and we will. I'm going to present some status and future strategies in the present talk. We have studied almost every part of this plant, which include the whole fruit, seeds, coatings, kernels, stem, twigs, hardwood, root bark, and flowers. And we have isolated more than about 100 new compounds from this plant. Some of these are shown over here, but the structures are different, and these do not demand any explanation in this talk. So you can go and see in the literature as well. So these are some representative structures. This is the molecule of azeractin. We very well know whoever is involved in these studies only. We also did some structure and activity relationship studies with respect to their pesticidal activity. For example, we opened the furan ring, we inserted a long chain, the side chain, etc., etc., and to compare the study, compare their activities with respect to azeractin. So the rationale was chemistry, biosynthesis, bioactivity directed isolation, preparation of synthetic analogs, structure activity relationship, and products development. So we have, as I said earlier, studied almost every plant of the compounds we have isolated are mostly triterpenoids, that is the same class of compound to which azeractin belongs. And we have studied their mode of action on pesticides in collaboration with Professor Dr. Naqvi Saab, who is no more with us, he is late now. And he was a biologist, he was a biologist, and he was the counterpart, and he did, and with the help of his student, he did the bioactivity determination studies. We all know we are going, whoever is involved in azeractin and indica studies, we know that the mode of action is not just killing, it is antifudant, it regulates growth, it is repellent, it disrupts reproductive organs, it reduces population growth, it improves the effect of other biologicals, and it has systemic effects. Its benefits, we all know, the most unusual and immediate practical use is the control of farm and household pests. These materials affect more than 200 insect species. These compounds bear no resemblance to the chemicals, which are synthetic insecticides, and have shown results as good as those of standard pesticides. They are composed only of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, and hence they have no atoms of chlorine, phosphorus, sulfur, or nitrogen, or any other toxic elements. Their mode of action is thus also quite different. They are unique in that they are instant killers. So I will. We have developed certain products which include biosal, which is a pesticide, agrosal for use in agriculture, bioaman for household, neem plus and nemex, it is a fertilizer, biopesticide for biofertilizer. Limectin is also a compound which is very effective germicidal effect on animals, livestock, and we have also developed some mosquito repellents. Biosal is a emulsifier concentrate prepared by solvent extraction of neem seeds and formulating the product in a manner to give water miscible pesticide. It has been found effective in protecting crops like cotton for sucking pests, rice, vegetables including brinjals, tomato, pumpkins, etc., as well as fruit trees including mango, coconut, palm, guava, and sassafras. We did some studies in collaboration with field farmer schools with the help of WWF, and they provided us a chance to work with farmer field schools where we also collaborated and with farmer. We developed a collaboration with them, and they did studies of our products on different plots. So these are some comparative expenses when it was done on different IPM plot, 998 kg, for example, farmer plot, it was 926. This is the total production cost. Rate was 28, that is the same. Total income they achieved was 27,944, for example, and in farmer plot it was 25,928. Total expenses were 17,000 something, whereas in farmer plot it was 19,000 something. Total savings were 10,000 and total savings were 614,000. These studies were conducted in different districts of Bhavalpur and Punjab and Sindh. In Sagar, this is the data for Sangar. I will not go into the detail because of the lack of time. Data of biopesticide, it is in Bihari Union Council. And this is the data, and you can see the percentage control with the passage of time. And average population of crawlers, average control plot, beneficial insects, harmful insects, cotton ecosystem analysis. This is at Shahdadpur. Again, Shahdadpur. This is Sinjoro. This is Sinjoro again, same continuity. And this is Sangar. This is Sangar. This is where it is Tandualayar. So on, so forth. So these data suggest that this biopesticide, biocide, can be a very effective and safe biopesticide for different pests, especially for cotton pests. Besides developing the biopesticides for plant protection, we also did some experiment with the animals. This picture is not very clear. I could not paste it properly. But this is an animal with some skin diseases, and it was very dreadful to look at this animal. We applied a product developed from neem, which was lectin, and here you can see the same element after 1 month. Same animal after 1 month. Outcome of our studies is that biopesticides can be an alternate to those chemical pesticides which are used to control the sucking complex. These can be used as a repellent against chewing pests. These are safe to beneficial insects. The research showed that the biopesticide plots increased crop yield up to 3 to 5 months per acre with good quality of cotton over controlled or farmer plots. The application of these pesticides was found to be a highly beneficial tool for IPM, safe for farmers, environment, easy to handle, economic, and therefore can meet the WTO challenges in future if adopted by our growers on commercial basis. But there are some problems which are faced. Social aspect, the greatest difficulty being encountered in their application is in pest control is the lack of awareness of farmers and common people, particularly in the third world countries like Pakistan. There is a great need to tell people about what biopesticides are, especially to farmers. How do they act? How much safer these are? What benefits they may provide? Biopesticides, including neem pesticides, are based on natural compounds. These pesticides are obtained from various parts of neem tree. They are non-toxic to human being and other pet animals. They are biodegradable, that is, they are used up with time, and therefore no toxic residues are left behind in the produce in contrast to those of synthetic chemicals. They can be alternated. This slide I have already shown. So this is also a repetition. Okay. So in spite of the difficulties encountered in the development and large-scale use of biopesticide, the scientists all over the world are enthusiastic and optimistic about the utilization of biopesticides as a source of sustainable, cheap, and safe pesticides. These efforts have culminated in the development of many products which are successfully used in several countries. A backup support and participation of government agencies, industry people, and also NGOs is required to make the use of these materials viable in the real sense. I may add at this point that because of our deep studies in the neem constituents, we could run a project from Ministry of Science and Technology, Pakistan, and for the development of a pilot plant studies and a pilot plant unit which I have developed at our institute. But unfortunately, we were not able to cope up with any industrial partner. There is a need to create awareness in the masses to take steps for the protection of already extinct resources, plants and trees, plantation of new trees, proper harvesting and processing of the seeds, and so on. The byproducts, on the other hand, may be utilized for the production of other industrial stuff. Furthermore, the production and development of local materials has the potential of providing employment and generating this income in rural communities. The plantation and propagation of trees also has the merit of promoting the greenery of the earth and improving the decline of the ecosystem. So it is not, it is just 3 or 4 years before, it was in 2009, that there was a huge attack of locusts in Sindh leading up to Punjab. So there was one person, his name I don't remember, he's the manager of a private dua farm. So he just took our pesticide, biosal, and he was trying it on other crops. And in the same time, the locust attack occurred, and this was his observation. The insect repellent developed KU was found effective against locusts. This was published in News International newspaper, and the slide was also run on TV. The HEJ Research Institute of Chemistry, University of Karachi has developed a plant-based insecticide or phytopesticide, which is an effective mode of defense against locust swarms, according to an NGO which runs operations in Tharparkar. Locust swarms have destroyed crops spread over thousands of acres of land in Sindh, including Tharparkar. However, around 600 fruit trees which were sprayed with this locally developed environment-friendly insecticide remain protected from the local attack, said Dr. Fayyaz Alam, General Secretary of the Dua Foundation, while talking to the news. We use this insecticide half-heartedly, but it proved to be an effective tool against locusts. This is the continuity of the same news channel, and the same thing is to publish in other newspaper, which is published in Urdu, and I'm not going to read it here. So these are some farms where we also visited and sprayed and saw and visited and looked at what is going on. So this was my presentation. If there are any questions, I am always there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Bena, for a very comprehensive presentation. You expanded beyond locusts and made a general outlook on biopesticide and its importance in Pakistan. Wonderful. I think, Sami, can we go to the next presentation? We'll have discussion at the end. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you, Professor Dr. Bina, for this presentation. And we are expecting probably few questions in the when we are open the floor for the audience. Going ahead, we have a presentation from Mr. Friz, co-founder and managing director at Lex Agri, SAS France, joined with Mr. Pablo, CID project manager. So I would request both of you to kindly share your insights onto the solution finder as how it is going to help to develop this biocontrol solutions. So over to you, Mr. Friz and Mr. Pablo.
Yeah, welcome, Mr. Fridge. Look forward to your presentation. Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you very much for your invitation. We are very proud to be invited by you and to be able to present our solution to find solutions about biopesticides. Before I go into the details with that, and with my colleague Pablo, he will give you an example as well, I want to explain just a little bit things about our company. LexAgri belongs to a company called Food Chain ID, and I will give you a short overview what they do. Food Chain ID. The aim of Food Chain ID is to make it easier to keep food supply safe and transparent. And we offer tailored technology, insights, and expertise in food industry. If you see where we are located, our headquarters is in the US, in Iowa, and we have different offices, mainly in Europe, but as well in India, in Bangkok, and in Latin America. We have about 40,000 customers. We work in about 100 countries, and we have colleagues we are about 700 people in the company. We collect data for about 200 countries concerning regulations. That means we are not only in agriculture, but we are on the whole food chain, starting with the farm and ending up with the packaging of a final product. Please, the next slide. Here, short introduction what Food Chain ID is doing. We are working in product development, helping companies to specify their products to be able to sell it on the international market. We as well offer we offer as well safety solutions, so we give certifications and we do food safety and risk assessments. In regulatory compliance, as I said, we have a huge database about the rules in the different countries about producing and selling foods and preparing the food as well. One of these parts is the global crop protection database, Homologa, which I will present later in more details. We also do certifications, mainly non-GMO certifications, but we also offer in many countries organic certifications, where we have a strong basis as well in India. We talk about regenerative agriculture. We also offer we propose a certificate for regenerative agriculture, and we have a whole program of helping and of raising the importance of the regenerative agriculture, as well of helping farmers to have financial advantages of doing that. So this might be another presentation, maybe for another time, where we can show our full program, which we do, which starts from measuring as well to the distribution and certification of regenerative agriculture. And we also have laboratories who do tests, mainly non-GMO tests, but also contaminants, pesticides, heavy metals, mycotoxin, threat drugs, and antibiotic residues. Now coming rather to our LexAgri company. Next slide, please. Our aim is making agricultural data accessible. We have been on that for about 34 years now, and we try to work specifically in agriculture concerning pesticides. We have established a database that is called Homologa, which is, let's say, the largest online harmonized plant protection database available in the market. We work with 30 experts globally, and we have also even more consultants who help us to collect the data about the registered crop protection products and the banned products, of course, and we also work on the maximum residual levels tolerances, which can give you a whole picture of the regulation in the food and in the agricultural production. We include as well trade statistics. We look at private standards like Rainforest Alliance, Fair Trade, and several others, biocontrols, biological standards as well, and we have different filters where you can select in the database to what you want to look at. Please, the next slide. Here just the solution finder we will present is based mainly on the Homologa database, which contains 92 countries, 4,200 crops, 10,000 pests, 12,000 active ingredients. We have about 350,000 formulated products in the database. And we have about 33 million usage entries. That means we can define by a branded formulated product in which crop it's used and for which reason and when it's used and in the more details. We include all pesticides, fungicides, insecticides, herbicides, growth regulators. We started as well biostimulants. We have more and more in the database. We cover seed treatments, biocontrol products, and nematicides. Please, next slide. Here you see a little bit more about the detail. You see an overview of the countries which we cover. And we see on the left hand, you can see the different content we have in the database. We have most of the countries we have in the local language as well. And we have, let's say, a second level in the database, which is the harmonized level where we translate everything in English. We have basic product information, means product name, active ingredients, concentration, company, and formulation as well. There's the crop information, pest information. Here, I must say, we do a lot of work of harmonization. For the crops, we harmonize them and we have, let's say, attributes to the crops to be able to do that. We do the same for the pests. We try to translate everything in Latin as far as possible. That sometimes is very difficult. And we also split crops, for example, if we get, let's say, information about a whole crop group like vegetables, we will go down and split it depending on the definitions in the individual countries, that you will be able to find the crop as well in, let's say, in the jungle of information we have in Homologa. We have as well pre-harvest interval information, re-entry in field information. We have GAP, what we call GAP information, is good agricultural practice. That means with which dose rate a farmer can use the product, how many times, and how much time before the harvest as well. This leads then later to the MRL information for the tolerance levels that are accepted in the different importing countries. We have off-label minor use information, emergency information about products that are registered just for emergency cases. We have seed treatment, parallel imports, adjuvant, certification standards. That means biocontrol, for example, options. We have risk phrases. We have the symbols for the risk phrases. And this is something we do not have for all countries on the same level, but because they are not always accessible publicly in all countries. So we have, let's say, a lot of information, and but it's not always the same for all the countries we cover. In terms of biocontrol, it's important to know that we also cover countries that are quite advanced with biocontrol. So we have the solutions they have already registered in these countries, which can help you as well to find in our database solutions that are somewhere accessible, somewhere existing. Please, the next slide. Coming now to our solution finder. As I said, it's based on the Homologa database. We have harmonized the data, so access by selecting a specific crop is possible. With the tool we use, it's called Tableau. It's a software that is used for preparing dashboards. We are able to allow you to access to millions of lines of data in an easy way that you even don't see the let's say the quantity of data behind, but it helps you to come up with solutions that you can easily find. As I said, it includes biocontrol products. Our aim, what we do with that is that you can learn from existing solutions in other countries. I think that's the main aim. And it's a sort of helping, exchanging knowledge from one country to another. we try as well to show you solutions not only in the biocontrol level, but as well we should have all the chemical products, the expired products, the banned products, so you can compare on pest level as well what could replace one pest solution for a chemical crop product with a biocontrol products, for example. So it gives you the full overview of the existing solutions. It could help you as well to find out the regulation in, let's say, in importing countries who import food. Like the European Union has very high expectation on low residue levels, tolerance levels, and this will help you as well to find the key elements which could make a problem for exports. And then what we also try to do, we show you solutions with biocontrol products, but we also give you the way of finding contacts to the provider of the solution. So we give you a link to the companies who develop these solutions, and that help you to communicate with them and eventually develop these products for your case in your country. Coming to the let's say to the commercial part, we are funded by our users. I mean, we are commercial companies, and the users the users who use our database and our services, they pay for that. So in your case, I mean, you are mainly research organizations and public organizations. We have to find a way to find, let's say, somebody, an organization who might fund the use of this database. But this is a subject, I mean, that can be discussed later as well. I want now to give the place to Pablo, who will show you an example. And in case you have questions, I mean, we'll discuss the questions later. Pablo, please, could you continue?
Thanks, Fritz. Thanks, Apari. So this is Pablo speaking from Spain, based in Spain. I'm working for Lexagri since 2017 and since last year as project manager. So I'm going to show you in more or less 5 minutes some examples of how the Solution Finder tool works. Solution Finder is a dashboard, as you see in the image, and it's pretty plain and simple to use it. You have 2 boxes on the top, one for crop and one for pest. So now you have a zoom, so you can see that I had a search on Solution Finder for the crop rice, the pest Magna Porphyr grisea, which is the rice blast, one of the more challenging pests for rice, which is a fungi. And when seeing what the Solution Finder brings, we can see that there are 93 non-biological solutions, also named conventional, also named chemical formulated. And then you have 16 biological solutions, also called biocontrol, biopesticides, whatever you want. And this dashboard is interactive. You have a map as well. And when searching for rice and for rice blast, you see it in green, the countries where solutions are available, where solutions are registered. And we can click on India, for instance, and then the solutions filtering are just focused on the ones in India. So now for India, we can see that there are less solutions, 24 conventional and 1 biological. And most importantly, when you click on Go to Brands, you can see which are the brands registered in India, because the charts here showing non-biological and biological refer to active ingredients, not to brands. But when clicking on Go to Brands, we can see the different solutions with the active ingredient combination and with the company in some cases when available. And most importantly, when clicking on the links, we can see links to the label. In this case, is a SDS label But the thing is that in some countries, the labels are not available, are not public available, as Fritz said. So we have some challenges to show all of them. That's why we develop Solution Finder, because you can check in other countries where the labels are available, which are the gap, the good agricultural practices, the doses, or whatever. So now we move on to a different pest, which is the Nina pavarta lugens for rice as well. And this pest is named as brown plant hopper. So it's an insect. You see that, sorry, in the map, you can see that the solutions are available are basically in Asia, Australia, and some countries in Africa. And when clicking on Malaysia, for instance, you can have access to the link provided by the government in Malaysia. But as you see, the government in Malaysia brings only some fields. They have information about the product name, the pest name, the active, but you can see here that there are no information about the good agricultural practices, which is the dose that the farmer should apply, or which is the time of the crop stage that the farmer should apply. But still, we have some information about the dates, registration date, expiry date, that can be useful. Searching for the same pest in China, you see that there are plenty of conventional solutions, more than 200, and 5 biological. And as I said, this tool, this dashboard solution finder, is interactive. So when clicking on the first biological solutions, Beveria bassiana, then you can see that in China there is only one product containing that active ingredient. And most importantly, when clicking on the link, you get the link to the label. It's publicly available. And if you use Google or another browser, you will probably be able to translate the label into English. So it's easier to you to understand which is the dose to apply, the timing, and other good agricultural practices information. So now I have finished. We have time for questions or for any other issue you want to share with us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Fritz and Pablo, for a wonderful presentation. Very exciting combination of presentations today, because they are very, very relevant to this region, particularly Asia Pacific region, because the developmental research and developmental like Mashood, the academician come researcher like Professor Bena, and the solution finder, both of you, in combination makes a lot of sense to this region, and then coming together and then making in one day the presentation makes me very much excited. And I can see if you, I think the topic is open. I have one or two comments to make before the topic is open for discussion. One is that I think most of you know that the Pakistan, where we have two presentations today, they have government approved new regulations for biopesticide registration. And those of you, if you have not seen them, you can download and see them from the government website, because there are now new regulations for biopesticide registration. Similarly, we have done for Bangladesh also, but they are in the process of approval by the government. In Pakistan, it is already approved. Then we have the different categories of biopesticides well done in these new regulations with the help of USDA expert from Ag-aligned Mr. Luis Sugiyama, who helped us in actually bringing up these regulations with the help of STDF and APARI together, worked out to bring these new regulations. Then they are highly meaningful in terms of the not only organic, maybe partly agroecological solutions also. These have a lot of significance. And my opinion, I think it could be wrong. I think you can say that the interaction between the private industry, academicians, registration, researchers and development workers is extremely low in Asia Pacific region. And then it can be enhanced to a great extent. So before I pass on to the, if I may ask Mr. Fridge, what is the, I am thankful to you that you said that for academicians and researchers, you may consider a different subscription that may be subject to the purpose and the organizations which is approaching you. That's okay. But current level of fees, if you can share, is it possible?
I think what we have today, I can give you just an idea that we have for the public a fee of 8,000 euros for a user. But since I think we have to talk about another way for let's say for research institutions, this is something to discuss later. I think we need to know a little bit more. If you are interested, if you want to test it, and we have to see how we can go forward with that.
Yeah, Apar is very much interested in this database. We would like to approach you separately and see how we can work together. And thank you for all of you. Eminent people are in this audience now, almost around 40 people. I think definitely there will be many questions. So it's open for discussion for all the three presentations. You can raise hand, and I think Swami can manage the questions.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Viprasad. I think we already have one question on the chat box to Mr. Fris from Dr. Ehsanullah from Bangladesh. His question is, Dr. Fris, could you please let us know what is the opinion of using biofertilizer and biostimulants with biopesticide? And then using biostimulants will raise any questions about the product that we say safe. I would request if Ehsanullah, if you want to repeat the question which is addressed towards Dr. Fris.
Yeah, I must say, I'm sorry, I can't give you an answer to that. I have no opinion on that. I mean, we collect the data. The only thing I could do for you, I could find people who work on that subject and give you an answer later on, because this would be, let's say, our work. What we do is not consulting clients what's the best option. We want to give access to all the options, and then let decide the user of our data what they think is the best option for them. And we also can link you with companies and people who work on that. But we ourselves, we are not in the detail of comparing products directly.
Thank you. I think I may add just one point for the benefit of all the listeners, that biopesticide in most of the countries, as a part of pesticide regulations, they have a separate regulations for registration. Whereas the biostimulants, very recently in India, they started for registration. Some guidelines have come. Biostimulants are only like a catalyst which will enhance the microbes already existent in the soil or in the system, in the plant system, and they are not directly killing the pests, these biostimulants, but they indirectly encourage the microbes, both the positive as well as those which are actually predators or parasites of the pests. And biofertilizers, still, at least in India, we do not have any regulatory mechanism for registration of biofertilizers. They very freely they are available in the markets, like the trichoderma, the wonder fungus is considered as a biofertilizer as well as biopesticide also. And this is in general, Dr. Ehsanullah, these are the three different categories for which biopesticides, there is a more organized regulations available. The other two categories are in the nascent stage, at least in the Asia Pacific region. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we can take the.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
I
please,
know
Fridge may
I
respond
just
additionally. Then
yeah. To add one thing, that we see globally that biostimulants are more classified now in the category of fertilizers, whereas biocontrol products, they are classified as pesticides. This is a
Perfect. Correct.
general direction. I think biostimulant, it's a very new subject, and I think there is a lot still to look at and to develop. And we see coming up a lot of companies developing new products that are difficult to find because they are normally not registered. So for us, it's not easy to find biostimulants in the market because it's not like for pesticides where you have a registration and an authority who registered it. For for biostimulant, it's quite complicated to get access to that information.
Perfect. Yeah, Dr. Esanullah, if you have some additional
Thank
points.
you, Professor Sir and Dr. Chris. Know that these are the three components, separate components, and need three regulations. But in Bangladesh, the farmers are using so many biostimulants, but they are not registered. Using biostimulants means, what we mean here is that it becomes like hormones.
Yeah.
So the product will be bigger or something like other shape, size, etc. Is it then we can say it is safe for human health? That was the my question.
Then, yeah, then it would be that would fall in the category of biopesticides. No, of not even of biopesticides, of pesticides in general, and then it would
Pesticide.
belong to the law. And then there is the question comes up: what about residues? If you export the products, then you need a tolerance level, and that makes life, I think, much more complicated.
Yes, sir.
I mean,
That is complicated. That is why I asked this question, because I don't really know, and just
yeah,
for kind information, just for my
Thank,
knowledge.
yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you,
so
Dr.
much.
Esanullah. It's a very pertinent
thank you.
question, and then I think
Yeah.
it helped all of us to understand. Yeah, any other questions?
So,
Sami,
we have another question from Dr. Stepman. If there are any plans to extend your database to Africa.
How, Francois, welcome. Nice
And
to see you here.
And another related question to Dr. Richard, like what are the IPR challenges for research to collaborate with bioindustry? So these are the two questions, so we can go one by one. Yeah, over
the
to
first
you.
one. Yeah, who will respond first question? From
I think that
Francois' first question.
question is to,
Yeah, I can go for it.
Yeah, please, Pablo, please go ahead.
Francois, thanks for your question. Yes, any plans to extend your database to Africa? Yes, we have collaborators in Africa. Some of them are based in Africa. And we digitize information, even taking pictures of the labels on the products, because sometimes the information is not publicly online by the country. So we even get to the point that hiring some consultant in Africa, going to warehouses, taking pictures of the labels within the pesticide product and digitizing those pictures and uploading that information into Homologa database. And it depends what the client requests from us and which countries. And yes, those are the plans to expand our database in Africa. At the moment, we have plenty of countries in Africa, but yes, still some missing. And we do collaborations. And I don't know if Fritz, if you can extend my answer,
Yeah,
you know more.
I can extend. So there are some countries that are quite advanced with the publication of registrations, and the key problem we have is getting access to the publications, to the ministries. The authorities are not keen on supplying us that kind of information. So we have been trying for many years. There are just a few ones where we have access. We have access to the publications for the, let's say, Western African countries. We have a consultant in Ghana, and we have a consultant in Cameroon that help us to collect the data there. Kenya is very well covered by the authorities there, so we have good data for Kenya. We used to have Ethiopia, That was, let's say, sponsored by the Dutch government, but they stopped doing that, and so we have no data anymore for Kenya. For South Africa, which is, let's say, it's more advanced, we have a collaborator who gets the label information directly from the companies. So we have, let's say, a good database for South Africa. For Northern Africa, we work straight directly with the Ministry of Agriculture. In Egypt, for example, we have access to the Moroccan authorities and in Tunisia as well. And we also get information from Algeria. But whereas there are still a number of countries where publications are very rare. We have countries, they publish only every 5 years. And we have, let's say in the last years, we used to have good data for Ivory Coast, but the publication is very slow now, and we are not too happy with Ivory Coast, which could be much better than that. So I would say it's a constant struggle. And as Pablo said, for Nigeria, we have done a huge effort to collect by photographing the labels, the detailed information. But in Nigeria, we find registered, we find about 6,000 products registered. But if we go to the warehouses, we do not find them at all. So we wonder if the list of the ministry is outdated, or there are registrations that are not there. And we also find information about products that are not registered. So it's not easy to get through. And if we talk about exporting, this is a big obstacle for exporting companies, for farmers who want to export their products, because they have to comply to the importing countries' rules, and in not knowing what they can use and what they spray, it's very difficult.
Very good. I hope, I think Francois is satisfied with this answer, elaborate, well explained African situation. Dr. Richard Roche, can you respond to that his question on the IPRs?
Yeah, I presume the IPR is intellectual property rights. Have I got that part right? I think the challenges are pretty much with industry, or pretty much as with any other kind of intellectual property dispute. You have to be careful to preserve your rights by filing for appropriate patent protection. And if the companies are always interested in something new, they have a marketing capability that the rest of us don't have. So there have been a number of good collaborations in the past between the agrochemical industry and biopesticide developers, particularly with viruses, insect viruses for caterpillar control, BT, and so forth. So I think the possibilities are there, but you have to have some strong research demonstrating the efficacy of your proposed product, and find ways that are not obvious to people practice in the field to secure intellectual property protection. Does that help a little bit?
Yeah, Francois, are you satisfied, or you have any extension?
That's okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And Professor Bina, thank you very much. That biosol is also registered in Pakistan. But I have a question for Professor Bina or Mashoodji, that is there any new biopesticide, registered recently after last year, following the new biopesticide regulations, registration guidelines?
Yes, Dr. Prasad, there are 3 more biopesticides applications received by the ministry as of last week. One of them has come from the National Institute of Biology and Generic Engineering. The second one has come from a private sector, and the third one is from an investor who has brought some formulation from I presume Ukraine, and they want to do a mass production in Pakistan. So there are 3 applications received. I'm the part of the Organic Agriculture Committee, representing a couple of government institutions. So we do get these updates. So yes, there are three more pesticides. One of them is fungicide, and 2 are insecticides.
Wonderful, wonderful for this latest information. But Mashoodji, I think you have a very key role to play from Pakistan how do we bring industry development workers like you and the academia together to make, because, and also I think, please think of a plan how these new guidelines for biopesticide registration can be popularized among the industry, not only within Pakistan or anybody else who would like to register in Pakistan. I think some effort may be required in that direction.
Yes, yes, Doctor, you're right. So what we are doing right now, we are promoting the new legislations through Federal Chamber of Commerces and Industries, reaching out to farmer organizations and also banks. So happily, what we have done, I mean, my company and myself, we have succeeded in pursuing a bank to also include biopesticides as one of those products which could be financed by the banks. So that's a huge sort of advancement for anyone who wants to come and invest, and so there will be a banking facility available for the product. Secondly, we are also in the process of translating those rules and regulations into local languages for the masses, so they can come and also take part in any way. Thirdly, we have already contracted an IT company which is developing a platform for everyone, not only in Pakistan but globally, to enter that platform and see what opportunities are there, because there are huge investments. 300,000 hectares are being 30,000 hectares are being converted into regenerative agricultural and organic farms at a monthly basis, and the milestones have been set up by the special investment facility created by the government. We are very moving very fast. There are some countries, international donors, who have come to Pakistan to take advantage of the cheap land and the low economical labor prices, and also the CPAC is there. So the Chinese demand for agricultural products is always hungry over there, and it's increasing every day. So that's the landscape where we are working. We are open to everything. We are working in 3 different geographies. We are in my company is in Pakistan, in Malaysia, and in East Africa. So we are also focused on there. We are working with some institutions in East Africa to develop their biopesticides in their environment and with their skills, and to also bridge the gap between the technicalities and finances.
Thank you very much for these updates. It's very happy to know that it's progressing well. Then those of you in the group now would like to know a little more about the new biopesticide regulations of Pakistan. Francois has shared in the chat box. You can download the link and look at them. That if some of the countries, if they are revising their biopesticide regulations, that would be very helpful. Yeah. Any other questions, Sami?
No, we do not have question, but we do have an announcement from Francisco. That's GFAR has submitted a proposal to German BLE on agroecology, and we may include mapping national registration of biopesticide in Africa. Would you like to share more about this proposal, Doctor?
Well, yes, it's. We hope that we will be approved, so it will allow us to write a full proposal in Guntur, Andhra Pradesh, most likely in January. And as the consortium consists of the Ritu Sadikara Samtara from Andhra Pradesh and major African players, we are still in the process of defining what the activities will be. And I think it would be most relevant to be relating with Fritz Schutzer to see whether we could include national mapping of those regulations. I think it's really a priority.
Thank you, Francois.
We would be pleased of doing that.
Yeah, we look forward to you, and we welcome you, Francois.
Dankeschön, Fritz.
So I think we have no more questions, but I think we're also coming to our end of the session and very much on time. Yeah.
Dr. Ross, want to say something?
Yeah, thank you. I just want to make an observation. Offline, I wrote to Dr. Mashoud and said, what were the key pests that you had in cotton and how did you deal with them? And I hope he won't fault me for sharing what he replied to everybody else, but that they use neem to control pink bollworm and whiteflies. I just want to mention that that's pretty new in cotton. Australia tried to grow organic cotton in the 1990s, for example, and they primarily did it with pyrethrum. So I think for the first presentation, the second presentation are linked, and that the first one, it seems to suggest there's been a real advance in neem technology over the last 30 years, because I don't believe anybody really would have put much confidence in Australia in the 1990s and went with pyrethrums instead. So it just strikes me that's noteworthy in terms of maybe the evolution of the art. Thank you.
Thank you, Sami, for this opportunity for interaction with the very learned community of practice of biopesticides. Then we wish, all of us wish very soon recovery and fast, healthy Dr. Ravi to come back to this. He's already there on mobile now. But yeah, that's thank you. Thank you very much. I think you can go ahead, Sami.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Prasad. So we have one final comment also from the lead scientific officer from Zambia, specifically to connect with and exploring local plants like neem. So I think he already shared his email ID. We would be able to connect you with the relevant stakeholders who have joined in this and take this conversation ahead further. As we conclude for today's community of practice, I would request all of you to capture this as a photograph for our sessions, and I request if you can switch on your cameras. And also, as a vote of thanks from the Apari family, I would sincerely appreciate all the stakeholders, and also to the Dr. Richard Roche for setting up the context, with Dr. Makhdoom for the excellent presentation, followed by Professor Beena to give quite an interesting presentations which were useful for the rest of the stakeholders, followed by the amalgamation with Mr. Frizz and to the Pablo to talk about the solution finder, which is quite an interesting, and we see that these sessions would be encouraging us to come with more of thinking to the next community of practice. And also I would sincerely appreciate to my colleague Darshika, who is the heart and soul of this community of practice, to lead and keep us engaged with the new topics and coordinating. And apart from that, we also especially thanks to my other colleagues sitting at the back end to manage this online meeting to be successful. And thank you so much. We look forward further. Thank you.
Thank you very much as well for the organization of the meeting.
Dr. Baraprasad sir,
Yeah.
Mr. Monish, please set a date for our call.
Sorry?
Set a date for our call.
I didn't get you, Dr. Hasanullah.
Oh,
I
okay,
didn't get you.
okay.
We'll talk after this.
Thank you so much. Thank you all. Stay blessed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, Manish.
Bye, sir. Bye.